Hello everybody, welcome to our fabulous new Flower of the Month launch, which is Cosmos, and we're working with the SVG files today. It's such a lovely colourways as well that you've got for this. I've already done the Minecraft Studio, so I'm going to be working with some backing papers that I've done on there, but something I want to actually share with you is you can't actually do this with dies. Well, you can, but it's a bit trickier. It's so much easier when you've got your scan and cut. What we're going to be doing is this. I'm going to pop that on there so you can really see the difference. So we're going to be welding two matte layers together and then creating an over the edge die, because you do get an over the edge die when you get the actual metal dies. But with the SVGs, you get your outside matte layer. And it's really easy to be able to create this. Now, when you do it with a die, it's a lot faffier. You've got to hang everything else off the end of the plate and be careful how far you cut to. However, with this, because you're welding it, you're creating the whole file. And when you've done it once, you actually don't need to do it again because you just save it and keep it. When I save something like this, however, I do make sure that I keep the steps on each one. I save each step. So if I ever needed to go back and alter it slightly, I've got the step, because once you've welded something together, unless you take it into canvas, you can't actually undo it. So I save it a step at a time, so I know I've got something to go back to. So first of all, when you actually download all of your elements onto your USB, and I love that it's digital and it's instant for you all, is pop your USB into the side of your machine. And I'm going to go to retrieve data. Now, there's several places we can actually get the data from, but obviously we want our USB. And in here, I've got my SVG, so I'll open that up. Now, when you're working with the SVG, so I've got my Flower of the Month Cosmos. I'm going to click on that folder. Once you open it, it then holds your hand all of the time. So you've got your build a bouquet and you've got the over the edge, okay? So your build a bouquet, if I click on that and open it up, it tells you you've got your detail cuts, your matte cuts and your reflections. So your reflections are all your detailed pieces. So if I click on here, you've got your large, extra large and small. So when you actually print your reflections, it comes in 3 different sizes as well. So everything's done for you. We do all of the hard work, so then you can get on with the crafting. So if I go back a step, and then in the over the edge, which is the main flower, the single flower, you still get your detail cuts. Now, your detail cuts are the ones that make it. I'm just going to open the original. And you also get the main and also any decoupage elements as well. So let's just open that up so we can have a look at it. The little arrow, this is just scrolling. So there you go. The detail cuts is almost like a drawing file, or you can use your foiling or your parchment tool or anything like that to actually work with this, because this would be lovely parched. So I'm going to go back and then again, back inside my USB, into my SVGs. And like I say, when you go in here, you've got 2 separate folders. So you've got your Build a Bouquet element and your Over the Edge. Now, both of them were from Over the Edge. I've used both elements. So that's where I'm going to select my data files from. And I want the mattes. Okay, so I don't want all the detail. I just want the matte cuts. So I'm going to go into here and click. And then I want the original and I want a small. So I'm going to click original first. And I'm going to set that one on the matte. But then I'm going to move it out the way. I'm going to add, go back in all the way through to where we've just been, back into my SVG, back into Flower of the Month. And remember, we went to the over the edge piece, which is the larger element, into the matte cuts. And then I want to select the small. And I'm going to set that on the matte by pressing OK. Now, there is quite a marked difference between the two. So can you see that you've got, it is quite a bit of a difference. Now, if I bring in my pieces, you can also see how they also then fit beautifully inside there. That's how you can tell it's your matte cut, because your detail, your actual reflection, sits in by a few millimeters, okay? So if you're really struggling, that's how you can tell that it's your matte cut. Now, what I need to do is firstly align these two properly, okay? And I'm going to align them to one edge. So I need to go into Edit. I need Multiple Select, and I want to select everything on the mat. I'm going to press OK. Then I'm going to go into my alignment function. Up here, it gives me different elements, so I can align it to the left, right, etc. At the bottom, the top, well, I want everything aligned that way. Okay, so it's moved it all over. I'm happy with that. And then I need to nudge them so they're overlapping. So I'm going to use my little arrow keys and bring that down. So I want it overlapped, like so, a little bit further, bit further, bit further, bit further, just where that leaf overlaps like that. And I'm happy there, okay? And now I'm going to weld those two pieces together. Now at this point, I would generally save it. So I've got this element saved. However, I'm just going to carry on. So I'm going to press OK and add. And I'm going to go to the patterns. I want one of the patterns. And I'm just going to add the square. Press set. And that is now on here. Now, before I go any further, I need to weld these two pieces together so it's one element. Or at least group it so I know how tall this is. So let's go into, click on one of these, Edit, Multiple Select. I'm going to select part of the mat because I don't need that grouped in. Press OK, Object Edit, and Weld. Now, sometimes it'll say it can't weld it, but in this case it said OK to weld the pattern, and it does tell you it's irreversible, okay? So I'm going to press yes. That's why I would normally save it. Press OK. Now I want to go into the size because I need to know how high this is. And it's 6.85 inches. So that's what I need to set this to. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to unlock the aspect ratio because I want to make it taller, not wider. And I need to take it to 6.85. Well, we'll soon find out. 8.5 it is. 6.85. Just keep going. Oh, a bit carried away. There we go. Now these two are now the same height. So I need to multiple select again because I want to make sure that they're aligned correctly. Press OK. OK again, into multiple select, everything on the mat. And then back into that alignment function. And then here onto this one. And now I need to align them centrally like this. And you'll be able to see on the mat, everything changes slightly. Click. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now I've overlapped them, but I've kept this free edge and I need to keep that free edge. Press OK again. Okay, and then again, and they're still all selected. So Object Edit and Weld. And now that's made me an over the edge card that will then be able to work and me be able to build from it. Now, if you wanted to, you can then take that one step further. So I would now save that and then, oops, press OK. Okay, lift that up there. Now we can also, on this, we can make matte layers as well if we wish. So I'm going to go OK. And it's already brought on 2 lines. So if I press minus, can you see it's changing? So you can have an inward or an outward offset line. So you can create your matte layers as well. And then when you create all your mattes and layers, you can then save it because there's multiple pieces on here. So if I press OK, processing, I've now got 2 on here. Okay, so that's my matte layer and it'll fit perfectly. So then to move on and actually cut it out, which I've already done. So let's bring in my elements. Like so. I am actually going to use, I've brought my guillotine in as well. Pop that on there. Because I've used the little white flowers, so I've mirrored it in the background. So I've cut that out. I've created myself a matte layer that's going to sit on the inside like so. Now, like I said, you can actually cut yourself other mats and layers, but I want this still to be the focus. So I do need to just quickly cut myself another little mat. And it doesn't really matter on the orientation on this. Let's just measure that first. I brought my pen in, and I don't really do much in the way of measuring. So even though you've got your scan and cut, it doesn't stop you from still being able to cut some of your layers with, especially quick ones like this, because I don't need very much of this at all. And then what I need to do is just lay that on here. I'm happy with where it is. Whoops. Again, make a mark. So there was a mark on there, it disappeared. That's now going to sit on there. And then, if I wanted to, I can create another one that's going to sit inside. Can you see how it mirrors? And then it flows into the back. But I do need to trim that there. And this is super quick card making, because as soon as you've done this and built all of this, so you could have this as a whole file, build everything together as one thing, save it as a complete file, and then whenever you want to then batch make and make this card again, you literally just set the machine cut in and it does all of the work for you, which is the really super duper piece. Because to be honest with you, we don't want to be doing all that fussing, do we? We just want to get on with the actual crafting. So just because it is an SVG doesn't mean that you can't cut things down. I need my foam tape. I trapped myself and brought in a new one because we're in the new studio. I thought I would. So that is going on there. That is going on here. And then I've got my smaller one that I'm actually going to build up at the top. So even though I've gone a little bit skew-if, it doesn't matter because I'm going to put little ones in. I'm building this up and adding more into it as well. Tuck that in behind. So now we can start building. So take that away. I do need some wet glue. I like to mix up my mediums when I'm working with something like this. So you might want to put a little bit of wet glue on some of it, but not on everything. I need to stick that down as well. So wet glue on there. And again, you don't need very much on these because we're not, I used to say to my boys, we're not holding the fourth bridge together, boys. Whoops, that sits on here, like so. And I've not stuck everything down because I want to be able to lift these up. Okay, I want more, just more. This is my decoupage piece that is going on top like this, and then I can pull this forward. That is going to sit on there, and then this one, a little bit of glue, and then I want my foam tape on here. So that's the first one that is going over the edge like this. Just going to tuck that in, and then these are the next ones. So again, a little bit of foam tape, then a little bit of wet glue. So I'm mixing up my mediums again. I need to get my fingers out of the way so you can see. Now this one I can lift up and tuck in just there. Again, tuck that glue in like so, and we have got some cut-offs, remember. And then finally, this is my third one. Again, a little bit of glue, shaping the flower. I'm just going to use my tweezers. I'm going to slide that leaf in behind, and I'm going to bring forwards, backwards, like I do. And then the piece that we actually chopped off, I'm going to snip into this. I just want to tidy that leaf up. In fact, I'm going to cut it into two because I can use this twice. So I'm going to take the bud away and pop a little bit of glue on the bud. And that's going to slide in first. And that's going to go over the top because it's growing like that. And then my leaf, before I actually set it on, I just want to just a little bit of shape. Wet glue again. And that is going to tuck all the way. Just want to make sure I'm picking up and popping it behind. Like that. Lift that flower up. Nest that in there. And stick it in place. And that tidies up all of my workings as well. Now while that is just setting, I can put my mat layers together. Now when you get to this stage and you've actually done all of this, there's lots of other ways you can add more texture, depth and dimension. If you've already got inks and things, that is brilliant. But you can also do it with a pen. Okay, now you just add in a wobbly line, or you can do your faux stitching. Now when you're doing your faux stitching, you need to be quite close to the edge. So you can add a little bit of faux stitching like so, really easy. But if I now take a pen and I'm trying not to hold it quite too tightly, and then I'm going to go again. Okay, and if you do it purposely that it's not straight, and then one more time, so I've gone round 3 times to make almost like a cotton stitch effect. That is now going on the inside like so, in there. And sometimes it also gives you a focal point on the inside, but you can also add your inks, and then also on here you can do the same thing again. So you can come round, all the way around, and then where it stops, it doesn't matter because you can jump over and start again. I'm going to take it up to the flower, and then I'm going to do it again. I'm overlapping, and it's little wibbly wobbly lines. And then one of the things you can do, where you've got all these crosses where your lines have crossed, you can either go back in and put little crosses, or add a little dot of glue and add a little gem or a little bit of glitter and sparkle. And it just actually lifts what's there. It's quite good to add a different effect. And that is your over the edge card. Really super simple to do because you've got the right machine that's doing the right work for you. So there we have it. And we've also used our fabulous backing paper that we made with the Micro Studio. So thank you everybody for joining me. I hope there's a little bit of inspiration there for you to all start using our wonderful Cosmos. And I'll see you all again in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share as well. And because there's lots more education coming your way. See you all again real soon. Bye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.